Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jamaat al-Muslimin, I need to thank you for your patience. You know, we are more dependent on technology. So technology has its way of thinking. We have our own way of thinking. So we need to say shukran jazilan for just having that little bit of sabr with us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Right, for those who have been with us for the past few weeks, I think you understand we are dealing with the story of our beloved Nabi Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, is mentioned in the Quran. The story has been told several times in different ways, but you will find that even if it's the same story that has been told, but the lessons they continue to be different. The story of Yusuf, like any other story of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam in the Quran, is like Hajj. The experience of Hajj is only understood by the Haji himself. When he comes back, his story is absolutely different from any other story that we know. Sometimes people will wonder, is this Hajj a different avenue? Why is everyone coming with a different story? So that's more or less what it is also with similar, when we narrate the stories from the Quran, Allah has made them easier to be understood, but they differ from one alim to another alim to get the same picture of the story, inshallah, ameen. I was just waiting for technology to give me opportunity to present for you on the screen before we start, because some of us we've been following up from the slides that is on the screen. In the first session, for those who joined us, we started by talking about the story of our Nabi Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, his family, where he came from, who are his grandparents and all that. And we mentioned Nabi Ibrahim with his two sons, that is Ismail and Ishaq. All of them, they made the entire beautiful story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, we understand to Muslims are actually connected to Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam with, as far as we go, we are connected to Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, I would like us to come back to the point where we are going to cover from this afternoon, inshallah. We started with the story of Yusuf, his lineage, where he came from. Then we tackled also some of the challenges that he met when he was sold into slavery, that is child slavery. Thereafter, we went to the next point where we discussed briefly his life when he was in Egypt, when he was bought by the Aziz of Egypt, given as a gift to his wife, that is Zuleika, and the challenges that transpired from there, where a certain attraction developed between Zuleika towards Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam as a young man, and how he managed to conquer some of the challenges, let alone the jealousy and the rivalry between the brothers of Yusuf, thinking of favoritism, that is being the most favored child, him and his young brother Binyamin. When you look on my other side of the page, there is more or less some side notes as we are going along, so that you can also see what we are up to here in the afternoon. Right. So today we are talking about the part where our Nabi Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam began to translate the dreams. We mentioned last week, are dreams acceptable in Islam? Then we said, yes, they are. But is it okay to translate a dream and give it a meaning? Yes, it's Sunnah of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam that they used to translate the dreams. So when you are looking at the translation of the dreams, each and every prophet was given a gift to translate dreams in a different way. Like you find that Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was given the perfect skill of dreams. But when it comes to Nabi Muhammad sallam, every Fajr Salah, you would sit with these Sahabas, you would ask them, is there anyone who had a dream? You would translate it and would give precise meaning to what it meant. Now, but the question is, when we are looking at this chapter here, why was Yusuf asked to interpret the dreams? Firstly, we see it, he explains to his father that he had a dream. Forgive me, I've got this naughty app that usually loves to pop up on my screen. Right. Now, As he translated the dream, the father said, don't tell your brothers. That was the first dream. Do not tell your brothers this dream. What is the second part? When he entered into the prison after being accused for what he did not do, what happened in prison? The two brothers in prison that entered the prison with him, by looking at him, they felt like they can trust him. Is it occurred that someone looks at you, then they feel like they can just trust you? Several times it happens, and somebody will just feel like confiding in you. They feel like your face, there's so much barakah and nur on it. You are the perfect person to keep my secret. They don't know you, but they feel like you are the best person to keep this amana that I would like to give. Subhanallah. Now, on this occasion, these guys, they come to Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam, and each one is talking about their dreams. But before I go there, I would like to touch about the questions as you see on the screen. Why was Yusuf asked to interpret the dream? That's the first one. The second one is, why was the dream mentioned in the Quran? Did we need to know about his dream? Was it necessary? And the last part, what are the qualities of giving and accepting advice, especially in any terms, including the dreams themselves? So let's look at the first one here. The question was, why was he asked to interpret the dreams? Now, when you look here, the dream interpretation, my brothers, is a skill. My elders, it requires you to show that empathy. When you tell someone a dream, you need someone who's going to walk with you, who's going to try to get into your dream so that they understand exactly what is troubling you, what you have seen in that dream. That requires that person. Now, how do you see this person? Number one, we look from the conduct, the nature of a person. This person has got good character, they've got good nobility, and they are capable of carrying it with them, and they'll be able to guide me where I want to go. In this case, when we talk about dreams, brothers, we are not talking about ilm, going to madrasa, studying 7 years and 12 years so that you become a specific alim. No. Dream interpretation, it requires elders. It requires wisdom. It requires articulation. It requires a deeper understanding. Because a dream you cannot just explain because you have ilm. Ilm does not translate dreams, but wisdom can. Because you have been there. You have walked the walk. You now know the differences between life and a challenge and a dream and a dreamer. You know, sometimes when I talk to the kids out there, when you ask a child, what do you want to be when you grow up? The child tells you, I need to be a doctor, but the child don't like medicine. They don't like mathematics. They don't like science. I say, well, how are you going to be a doctor? Because some of your subjects that requires you to be a doctor are the things you don't like, and automatically Allah will just wake you up in the next morning, you are in a surgery, you're in a practice. It doesn't work like that. So similarly, when we look at nature of dreams, a person has to look at a wiser man. I would prefer you talk to an elder if you have a dream. Talk to an elder or talk to a trusted scholar that you know will be able to give you the actual meaning that you're looking for. That's the importance of a dream. Now, why should we do that? Because the person who understands this deeper understanding is someone who can create that supportive environment. Sometimes not all dreams just end as dreams. Sometimes they may be meaningful to the life that you are living or the life that you lived. So you need someone that is going to guide you in that dream to say, this is what you can do from this point. Like, for instance, someone asked me a dream. Sheikh, I'm dreaming every day I'm eating haram. Every other day, whether I sleep during the day, during the night, I'm eating haram. So what must I do? Brothers, this comes now. Now you using your ilm. If someone is eating haram, that's haram already. So which means what exactly are they eating on the other side? So it requires you to go deeper. Are you a businessman? Are you a scholar? Are you sick? Are you not feeling well? Are you having challenges with family? There's quite a lot of background check that requires you to connect to the current dream that a person is going through. It doesn't just happen to be a dream, but it follows a chain of many more things around it. Now, the second part is someone that also acknowledge your feelings. If you talk to someone of a dream, imagine you just tell someone your dream, then they just say, hey brother, it's a stupid dream. All dreams, they look stupid, but they are not stupid. So you cannot assume that every dream, because it does not make sense to you. When Nabi Yusuf والسلام, met the priests that was there in his time, when he mentioned the dream of the king that was there, as we shall see, they came and they just said, oh, your dreams, adghathu ahlam. This is just an entanglement of things. I don't think it makes any sense. But there was someone who was able to untangle what it was, which is why we are talking about this story here. Now, someone who understands the feelings and the challenges, and that can offer you also that advice you're looking for in a compassionate way. That's someone you're looking for. Now, let's look on the second quality of the question. Why is the dream interpretation story being told in the Quran? Now, when we look at also, it's a means of communication. I think there's a typo error there. It is also a means of communication from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fact that it's there in the Quran, there was a message in the dream. Allah was relaying a message. When a Nabi has a dream, it's called wahi. It's a revelation. But when you and I has a dream, it's a connotation of the world that we live in. Sometimes the background that is not completed. Sometimes Allah is opening the avenues that you have never encountered or seen yet. Sometimes maybe it's about family itself. Imagine you dreaming you're in a predicament whereby you are being told that you don't belong to this family. Now you are this elder. You are being told in a dream that go and find your family. Go and find your family. Go and find your family. You see it regularly in your dream. What are you going to do with that dream? Certainly you have to question. Why this dream? Why am I getting a clear message to find a family? So who am I? Where am I? How did I get here? So it's important to get such answers. Sometimes you may be an adopted child who did not know that you were adopted. Sometimes you may be raised by an uncle, you may be raised by a grandfather, you have been raised by step parents, etc. Now you are seeing this dream and it's telling you, eventually they'll tell you, no, we raised you when you were a baby, etc., etc. Now that you have grown up, now you deserve to know the truth. Now this is the truth about your family. Now you'll be puzzled. Now you start wondering, was my life a lie? It could be a dream. So more or less we go deeper into those kind of questions in order to determine the effectiveness of that dream. So mostly the dream in the Quran, it's a communication from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how Allah conveys the message, the guidance, the warnings for the individual that is being relayed to. The Quran also acknowledges the potential significance of dreams as Allah talking to you directly. Whenever you see a dream, it is Allah pointing to you. But there are also others which are called whispers of shaitan. Where you are sleeping, all of a sudden you see this dream, which is pretty weird and funny to an extent that you question the motive. This can't be a good dream. I think shaitan is something to do with this because the Quran says, Yuwaswis fi sudurin nas minal jinnati wan nas. He whispers in the hearts of men from the jinn and mankind. Remember when you are sleeping, shaitan whispers in your ears. Most of what you call dreams are the whispers that shaitan is talking to you in your ears. When you wake up tomorrow, you shall see as if you have dreamt, and it is a world like this, like that, like that. He relays all his stories. Remember, when you are sleeping, it does not mean your brain dead. You can hear everything that's happening, but your avenues of normal functioning is the one that's blocked during that time. But you can hear whispers. You waswis fi sudurin nas. That's how shaitan works. He whispers so that you can wake up with a story that you need to tell. Sometimes it's a lie. Like Nabi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna kayda shaitana kana da'ifa. Whatever shaitan plans with you, it's always weak. He just wants you to change about your behavior and your nature, how you see things around you. Now, let's look a little bit at the qualities of giving and accepting advice here. Right, right. When we go to the next slide, subhanallah, let's look at the first part. If you need a dream to be translated by someone else, remember we're still part of the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, the approach with sincerity is very important. Let's say someone has come to you, Uncle, I had a dream. I would like you to tell me, what do you think this dream is all about? Because usually youngsters, they approach their elders, their fathers, their uncles, those they think they have better knowledge than they do. So in this regards, because this youngster is disturbed, he needs more highlight and guidance. Now what does he do? You need to make your intention clear that you are helping this person without criticizing them or belittling them. When you choose to help that person, don't say, look here, you are still a child, so you don't know what is happening. It's wrong for you to think like that. No. Make the child feel that you are here to listen to the dream. When Yaqub had this dream of Yusuf, he did not judge his son, did he? If today a child came to you and said, I saw 11 stars, the sun and the moon, they were making sajda. You say, hey, you watch fiction too much. You watch too many movies. That's exactly what we will do. We'll assume what we want to assume because our minds have not been guided to see what Yaqub used to see. So in this regard, your intention is not to belittle that person who has seen the dream or to criticize them, but you have to approach them with sincerity, so that you need also to be receptive to your advice, so that the person on the other side will feel appreciated that I spoke to someone that can understand. Next time they will trust you again. They will come with something different because you have opened that room for trust. The second thing is you need to be gentle and respectful when you're addressing the language. Like I said just now, when you hear a child speaks, you just say, oh, you always talk nonsense, my baby. We can't say that as seniors or adults. Rather, we need to understand, why is this child speaking that way? So we need to guide them in the way they should express themselves rather than criticizing the way they are saying something. So it's more important to do that. So avoid using those harsh and judgmental language that may be offensive or hurtful. So you have to choose your words wisely and carefully whilst you are advising that next person. So avoid also those derogatory languages that a person can make, which makes someone feel attacked. That I thought you would guide me, but I see you just punching me with words, just telling me how naive I am because I don't have brain of my own. Yes, children feel affected. They feel also violated when their feelings are not heard. So in terms of dreaming, children, they dream the most than we do because they are born as dreamers. Naturally, children are born to dream. And they will always tell you things that you always say, hey, this child. May Allah make it easy for this child to become what he wants to be. Subhanallah. So, in that regard, we need to avoid such so that children will not end up being defensive and hinder that effective communication that is required. Why? Because they feel like you don't listen, but that uncle in the masjid will listen. Now you end up seeing your child coming to the masjid, and you think they are coming for salah, but yet they are coming for the uncle who's giving him attention, affection, and that neighbor who's doing the same. So the other thing that we must add to this is be empathetic and understanding. Even if you don't understand what the child say, you can say, look, my child, your dream is very important for me. It's very important that you told me, but inshallah, give me just a day or two, I will explain what your dream means. So in the meantime, you hold him up. On the other side, you look for the knowledge to benefit this child. So it's more important that way, inshallah. Let's look at the dreams of Nabi Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. As he is in prison, the first man he comes, it's about pressing wine. What was the story? He dreamt, Inni ara aqsir khamra. He said, I was squeezing wine for the king. I'm squeezing the wine for the king. And the other man, the second man, he said, Inni ara ahmil fawqa ra'si hubzan ta'kulu at-tayr min. I saw I was carrying a basket of bread on my head and the birds were eating from it. Why are they choosing Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam? Why did they choose him? They just looked at his face. They looked at his character, how he's looking after the other inmates, how he's so kind, how he's very merciful to them, how he cares for everyone. They said, no, this man cares. Certainly, he must understand about dreams. That's how they approached him. Now, when Hazrat Yusuf والسلام, looks at these two, he's seeing something is lacking here. These guys are lost. They are not in the Surat al-Mustaqim. The first thing he did, he said, let me give them da'wah first. He got an opportunity. Let me talk about da'wah first. Because remember, when someone is in need, which means they have time to listen to what you have to say. When someone is desperate, they have every moment to listen to what you have to say. So the moment that Hazrat Yusuf got, he used it very productively. He turned it into da'wah. Then what did he say? Let me tell you about Allah. Let me talk about Allah. Because I'm seeing you've got so many gods around you. Perhaps the worship of these gods have vexed up your minds. So let me put you to the correct God. If you believe in him, then I can translate your dreams. Then he started telling them about oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we call Tawheed. And later alone, he explained now the translation. What did he say? The actual words. قال لا يأتيكما طعام ترزقانه إلا نبأتكما بتاويله قبل أن يأتيكما ذلكما مما علمني ربي. He replied, I will, with Allah's permission, tell you the interpretation of the dreams before the food, subhanallah, before the food you are served to eat comes to you. He said, for you to know that what I translate is true, first I'm going to tell you what you are going to eat before it comes. Today you shall have fish, shall have dates, and you shall have drinks, mashallah, and you shall have very good bread today. It's going to be served to you. They said, Yusuf, are you crazy? This is prison. In prison, we don't eat those things. He said, no, but today you shall. Few minutes down the line, the guards, they bring the food. Exactly as Nabi Yusuf said. They said, how did you know? He said, do you believe what I say? They said, yeah, we do. They said, okay, well, if you believe, now I can tell you your dreams. What is the wisdom, brothers? When you are a Nabi, Allah gives you the insight of the future. So in short, you know what's going to happen and you can work towards what is happening right now. This is exactly what he did after explaining the food that was given. Then we come to the next challenge. Then he said, as for you, this is what is going to happen. You shall squeeze the wine for your king again. But as for you, I saw you carrying the bread, the basket of bread on your head. Unfortunately, it's not going to be good news for you. That brings us to the next slide. If you ask for the meaning of your dream, are you willing to take the consequences of the meaning of that dream? Are you willing to accept it? Because your dream can seem good, but the meaning can be absolutely the opposite. This is exactly what happened. So, as someone that is requested, you need to learn how to accept the dream, even if it's difficult. That's what is required, and it also takes time. Secondly, you who is giving also the advice, it's also good to understand that you are not doing it for yourself. It's not for your own good. It's for everyone's good in the picture. So you have to be honest, not just to make people feel good or to make people know that you're a professional. No, that's not how it works. Now, the first dream, the man, he went on to squeeze the wine. He became the servant again to the king by making that wine. As for the second dream, he was told, you will be crucified and the birds will eat out of your head. And this is exactly how the outcome of the dreams came. The second dream that elevated the position of Hazrat Yusuf والسلام, was the dream of the king. When the king had the dream, 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 thin cows. On the other side, the 7 green, fresh wheats were being eaten by the 7 dry ones. The king is confused. The priests are confused. Everyone don't know what to do. Now, as they tell, one man was served to squeeze wine for the king. Nabi Yusuf, he said to him, Udhkurni inda rabbik. Remember me by your king. That there's a good guy in prison, you put him there, and he didn't have any problem. So he says, if you can take him out, please. But Allah made this incident to be forgotten because Nabi Yusuf asked for help from a person, not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My brothers, no matter how much problems we have, before you ask from anybody, put Allah first. He can answer you first before anyone else. Everyone else will be external agents used by Allah to respond to your request. Now, in this case, he translated the dreams of the king. You shall have 7 years of prosperity, and they shall be followed by 7 years of drought. When he had this only, he said, your dreams, both of them are the same. He called Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. He said, please, I need you to come. I would like to see you. I would like to know you. I would like to be with you. But Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, remember, he is put in prison for something he did not commit. He said, I will not leave this place until you clear me of my name that was put in the mud. My brothers, if somebody has done something wrong and you know you've been wrongly accused for something, and next minute they want to make a deal with you, how clear are you going to be with that person? The person comes back for the second time. Last time the deal didn't go right. Now they are here for you again. What will you do? Are you going to say, yeah, it's okay, it's money? No, it's not. This time it's about keeping a clean name between us. Let's fix things right. Last time I didn't like what you did. You wrongly accused me, and I'm sure you should admit if I was right or you were wrong or something went wrong here. You clear your names, say that the next proposition will become much greater, inshallah. Now he is called by the king after being cleared to come into the palace. What do we learn from this chapter, my brothers? Firstly, dream interpretation for the prophets is called a wahi. It's a revelation. Your dream can be termed as a present, a gift from Allah. When you see a dream, whether you're making salah, you're giving zakah, or you see the opposite of your dream, you always need to know there is a message, something that you are not doing well or that is not being practiced right. So by doing so, Allah will make it easier once you seek it from Him. That's why we Muslims have been blessed with what is called istikhara. You have a dream, you can ask the meaning of your dream in a dream. If no one can help you, ask Allah, oh Allah, I would like you to give me the meaning of my dream. You make istikhara. Can you explain this dream with another dream? Then Allah will point out a beautiful dream to tell you exactly what the other dream was talking about. Then we take it forward. Then second point is we need to take time to seek for good advice. Very important. Always ask something that is beneficial. And the third thing is a listener should take time to understand what you are being advised. If someone advises you, if you don't understand, say, explain further for me to understand more, because I'm a bit slow. You know, not all of us catches up information at first hand. Sometimes we are a bit slow. Say, please rephrase in a simple way, which I can understand as well. So by doing so, Allah will make it easier. And lastly, on that point, be patient. There is no dream that can have instant meaning. Sometimes the dream may come twice, thrice, several times till the meaning finally is established. And finally, we are looking into chapter 5, where Yusuf والسلام, is joined now by his brothers and family, which is going to be our final segment. But a recap from what we did, we spoke about jealousy, the dangers of jealousy. We also spoke about seduction, the danger that we can be put as men folk among other women, which is a bit of a challenge, but we need to depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to find guidance. Then we spoke about the imprisonment of being truthful. A man, you chose prison for being truthful. Can we be the same? Choosing what is right versus that which is wrong. And lastly, the tests and the trials, no matter how big they are not forever. They come with an expiry date. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us khair and barakah, inshallah, ameen. Everything as far as we see, the story of Yusuf is coming back into our lives to fulfill some of those hidden things that we have never realized they exist within us, inshallah. وصلى الله وبارك على سيدنا محمد سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت
ونستغفرك ونتوب إليه. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.